How were early suspension bridges designed without modern tech? Imagine crossing a river or deep gorge long ago, with no computers or heavy machinery to help. How did people build bridges that could hold weight and stand strong? Well, early suspension bridges were made using simple tools, natural materials, and a lot of careful observation. They relied on what they knew about how materials stretch and bend. Primitive peoples used vines, grass, and bamboo to create the first cables. They would weave and bundle these natural fibers tightly, testing their strength by gradually adding weight. These early bridges were often just basic walkways over gaps, but they proved that suspension could work with what was available. By the 4th century of the Common Era, Indian engineers improved the design by using plated bamboo cables. Later, they started using iron chains, which were much stronger and lasted longer. These bridges had roads suspended directly from the cables, a simple idea that still guides modern designs. In the 15th century, Tibetan builders like Thangtong Gyalpo made iron chain suspension bridges. They showed that metal could be used to support heavier loads and span longer distances. These early uses of metal were important steps toward modern suspension bridges. In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, engineers in the United States, like James Finley, patented designs that combined iron chains with rigid decks. They used hand calculations and physical models to test their ideas because computers did not exist yet. These models were scaled-down versions of the bridges, and engineers tested them for strength and stability before building full-size structures. One of the most important innovations was John Roebling's method of spinning cables on site from many wire strands. This process made the cables much stronger and more reliable. Roebling also added stiffened decks with trusses to reduce vibrations caused by wind or heavy traffic. Designing these bridges involved understanding how tension in the cables balanced with compression in the towers and anchors. Builders observed the natural shape of hanging cables, called the catenary curve, and used it to shape the main cables for even load distribution. Early suspension bridges could span long distances without needing support piers underneath. This was especially useful over deep rivers or gorges, opening up new areas for travel and trade. In short, early suspension bridges were created through trial and error, practical knowledge, and incremental innovations. They used natural fibers, metal, and simple calculations to build structures that pushed human limits and set the stage for the engineering feats we see today.